I'm Rebecca, otherwise known as Bex here at Intrepid Travel, and I'm the Global Social Media Manager. So I'm responsible for our creative partnerships, communicating all of our advocacy work, our values, our incredible experience-rich product that is full of sustainable, immersive goodness.
I'm Chris and I'm the Head of Global Sales and Business Development, primarily for our city tour brand, Urban Adventures, Intrepid Travel's sister brand. And I work with partners within the travel industry, mainly B2B. Partners like TripAdvisor, Expedia, Get Your Guide, Airbnb, some global names that you may recognize there to sell city tour products that we operate, as well as partners outside the travel industry such as the New York Times, Match.com, The Culture Trip, to bring experiences to brands outside of the space and to connect with customers in new ways.
Intrepid Travel is primarily a small group adventure travel company. And so by that I mean, imagine a group of 10 or so like-minded travelers exploring any destination in the world. We have trips in over 100 different countries. And that trip is led by a local, so you have the most culturally immersive, authentic experience possible. And it's very much focused on treading lightly. So you're getting that experience by using local transport, you're staying in locally owned accommodation, you're really supporting local businesses through where you dine, where you shop, and where you frequent. So amazing product. And very much not something that is too easy to translate to the digital world, because it is all about forging those connections in a very human way and, seeing the world in a way that benefits people and planet and is just really, really exciting and fun.
We are seeing people looking at experiences within their own country, within their own city, and because of our product style being more immersive and trying to take customers away from the overcrowded tourist spots and into new neighborhoods, we're actually seeing some demand and interest locally to explore neighborhoods that that people that live in their own cities have never experienced before.
With our team, actually, in the space of 6 weeks, they completely developed new product from beginning to seeing it on the website that really spoke to that demand. So essentially focusing on marketing Australia to Australians and the UK to Brits have been two of the kind of big markets where we've had new product. And the product has changed a little bit to really talk to, COVID and the sort of new world that we see ourselves in. So whereas before it was very much multi-day, but you'd stay in one destination for maybe 2 days or so before moving on, it's now more of a retreat style that we're looking at, where you unpack once. And a lot of your time is really spent outdoors. So
we've also launched a range of virtual experiences that people can take from anywhere in the world from their living room. And what that's allowed us to do is really keep our customers engaged with cultural experiences during a time when they can't travel.
This pause for travel is what you make of it, and yes, it is really, really challenging, but there has never been a time in the world where we've really been able to actually take that step back and say, hey, we have this incredible opportunity to rebuild the industry in a way that has sustainability and equity front of mind. And of course, now what we're seeing is the opposite of over-tourism, where there's under-tourism, which is equally problematic. It's been really, really special to do is to see how much collaboration there really has been in the industry because of it. So we've really worked to open source a lot of our policies and toolkits with regards to responsible travel. For instance, our decarbonisation guides and our plans as to how we've been carbon neutral since 2010. We've essentially outsourced that plan so that other companies can follow suit. And in the exact same vein, We were the first global tour operator to ban elephant rides on all of our trips, which is something we're very proud of. And likewise, we've worked to open source our animal welfare guidelines so that other travel companies and other companies, where it is relevant, we're really saying like we together want to make the industry better. Even if before we were competitors or before we necessarily wouldn't have wanted to work together, it's this incredible opportunity to really say, hey, we all want to rebound, but we want to rebound in the right way. There's been that recognition that travel is a privilege, it is not a right, and therefore people are really, really focused on those very special, unique landscapes and experiences that they've always dreamt of. Thank God we have very flexible booking conditions as a result of COVID, because you really have to be agile in this landscape.
I think these days the primary driver for customers is trust in many different ways. So to link back to Bex talking about the open sourcing of the decarbonisation guide and how the travel industry is working together, that's happening on a grander scale as well in terms of building customer trust. So the World Travel and Tourism Council has released safe travels protocols for different sectors of the industry that are guidelines for operators to follow that involve sort of cleaning, social distancing, all of those elements that can help keep travellers safe, to help standardise what we're doing on the ground in destinations and help build trust.
I think we learnt a lot of lessons in really the importance of humanity and vulnerability in our communications. Really made the conversation about our travellers, and so we published their stories, their memories, their beautiful letters on our social and our email. And for us, really making it not about us and just leading into the humanity and the stories was absolutely critical, I think. Powerful stories win, and people really care about people. So even if there's company news or there's new products or there's something that, we're kind of looking to talk about on our channels, it's really finding, it's asking ourselves, how can we humanize that product? And it's through people, it's through their stories, and that's not going to go away.
We handed over the mic, as Bex put it, to our local teams around the world to offer insight to what life was like in the middle of a pandemic in different countries around the world.
We have a large focus right now on how to go instead of where to go for 2021. One of the things, one of the pillars of that is going on your own terms, and how in 2021, the best trip that you can take is one that you feel comfortable with. Because in these times, flexibility and being really true to yourself are just so incredibly important. I think we're going to see it going, really a step further, where there's a really large focus on custom-made tours and that personalization element, where before, traveling with like-minded strangers from all around the world.
Customer trends will be changing, and what they're looking for will change. And one of the emerging trends that we've seen over the past couple of years in particular is the emergence of the concept of slow travel. So rather than hopping across to a different country for a couple of days and doing that maybe 3-4 times a year, maybe even more if you're lucky enough, what customers will be doing is traveling fewer times per year, but spending longer in a destination. And part of that is due to COVID. So I think a lot of people will want to be taking less flights and be moving around less. I think there'll also be demand to spread tourism out in some of the more popular destinations to new neighborhoods within cities, and even secondary and tertiary cities within countries as well, to help spread those economic benefits of tourism.
People speak to it almost as more of a plan B. I think it might be a case of us all having to try a little harder and to push the benefits of being close to home and exploring on your doorstep in a way that is maybe a little bit more appealing. So I think a really big learning for me has been a little bit less is more. Be very intentional in what you go out with. You don't need to have certain milestones that you need to hit with regards to the frequency of your communications. So really, let the best story win, let the best news permeate, communicate when it is appropriate to do so, but don't hold yourself to this unnecessary standard of needing to do things a certain amount of times per week just because it's always been done.
Just seeing as an industry and as a company in some really difficult times, and how customers responded to that, and how much they root for us and appreciate what as a business, and in terms of the guides around the world and the local communities and we visit, and seeing what that means to customers, and seeing how that manifests itself in some of the messages that they sent to us, some of the letters they wrote for the Be Together campaign, how they've honestly, in terms of what they're doing with their money as well, in terms of continuing to book trips with us and keep credits on file.